call to order the regular school board meeting for Washington Township. Let the record reflect that all 5 board members are present. We will start this meeting as we do all meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Before we jump into agenda items, I would like to say happy belated birthday to Mrs. Horth Kruger and Mr. Turner, and happy birthday a day early to Dr. Whitson. Okay. A lot of Pisces in the room. So we will start this meeting with board recognitions. Dr. Taylor.
Yes, good evening, President George Davis, Dr. Woodson, members of the board, and good evening to our community. This is awesome to see such a great turnout. We have 8 recognitions this evening. First up, we'd like to congratulate North Central High School sophomore Simon Leibold Wagner, who recently achieved the rank of Chief Petty Officer in the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps. And we'd like to invite Simon to come on up before Dr. Woodson at this time. This is the highest rank in this program and can only be achieved after a minimum of 3 years of service in the program. Simon is currently the training officer for the Cruiser Indianapolis Division. Simon participates in drill weekends monthly and has served on the leadership team of his unit for the past year, planning and leading the drill weekends. Simon has completed advanced trainings out of state every summer and winter break for the past several years, including 2 trainings as a staff cadet where he trained and mentored newer cadets. He has also performed countless community service hours and color guards in his time in the Corps. Simon's leadership, commitment, and service are commendable. Congratulations again, Simon. We're extremely proud of you.
Mr. Ted, congratulations. Dr.
That's good.
CPO, if you want to come up for pictures, do you mind if I? Thank you. Nope.
Yeah.
Next up, we'd like to congratulate North Central High School junior Salsabil Cadora. Is Salsabil in the audience? Standing in, we'll have Mr. Gata. So congratulations again to Salsabil. If she's here, we'll invite her up and momentarily if she's late, who's been named the Indiana High School Journalist of the Year. This is Washington Township School's 5th recipient of this award, starting with our first in 2000. We've had more journalism students of the year than any other Indiana high school. The Indiana High School Journalist of the Year is selected from digital portfolios submitted to IHSPA that best meets the requirements set forth by the Journalism Education Association. The Indiana winner earns a $1,000 stipend and is eligible for scholarship funds up to $3,000 in the national competition, which concludes at the Spring National High School Journalism Convention. We're honored to share this award with Salsabil, and hopefully she'll come up. Thanks, Mr. Gata, for standing in. And next up, we'll have Mr. Gata stay put, and the students that are here on behalf of the journalism department to join him. Congratulations to North Central High School for being selected as a 2024 First Amendment Press Freedom Award recipient. With us this evening, again, is Mr. Tom Gata and some North Central students. A committee with representatives of the Journalism Education Association, National Scholastic Press Association, and the Quill and Scroll Society studied each application carefully and selected North Central High School as one of the schools to honor. This is the fourth time North Central will receive a First Amendment Press Freedom Award, 2 more times than the other 2 Indiana schools who have received the award in the past. North Central is the only school in Indiana this year to earn this recognition. In fact, North Central is the only school in Indiana to earn this honor in the past 20 years. Awards will be presented at the opening ceremony Thursday, April 4th at the JEA NSPA National High School Journalism Convention in Kansas City, Missouri. We cannot express enough how proud we are of these students and honor you and Mr. Gata as we recognize this group for national honor. Congratulations. And as they're shaking hands and getting ready for their pictures, they're also getting another recognition for being a finalist for the Innovation Pacemaker. The Pacemaker Award, given by the National Scholastic Press Association, is the highest honor student media can earn. And what we always appreciate, the only Indiana school to ever be a finalist or winner. Again with us, you have Mr. Gata and team to celebrate this recognition. The Innovation Pacemaker is designed to encourage out-of-the-box thinking and reward student media for the courage to take chances to improve service to their customers, readers, and communities. There are 6 national finalists for the award this year. The winners will be announced during spring break. We wish you the best of luck and congratulations again on this a huge accomplishment. If you are here with the North Central High School Wind Ensemble, we invite you to come up before Dr. Woodson to be recognized at this time. Congratulations to Performing Arts and Band Director, Mr. Granlin, Associate Director, Mr. Brinkman, and the North Central High School Wind Ensemble, as we are proud to announce their upcoming performance at one of the most prestigious concert venues in the world, Carnegie Hall. This remarkable event is scheduled to take place on March 25th, showcasing the extraordinary talent and dedication of these young musicians. The North Central High School Wind Ensemble has consistently demonstrated excellence in musical performance, earning numerous accolades and awards at both regional and national competitions. Now they are set to captivate audiences on the renowned stage of Carnegie Hall, a dream come true for many aspiring musicians. This performance at Carnegie Hall marks a significant milestone for North Central High School Wind Ensemble, representing the culmination of years of dedication, practice, and musical growth. It is a testament to the unwavering commitment of the students, teachers, and supporters who have helped shape the band into the exceptional ensemble it is today. Join the North Central High School Wind Ensemble for a special send-off concert as they prepare to embark on this once-in-a-lifetime journey to Carnegie Hall. The concert will be held on March 18th at 7 p.m. in the North Central High School Burge Auditorium. Congratulations again, and we wish you all the best.
Congratulations.
Hey, good job.
Good luck. Have fun.
Great opportunity. Congratulations.
Luck, have fun.
Good job.
Have a
Hi, good luck. Have fun.
such so much
Great
fun.
time.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Great time. Congratulations.
Great opportunity.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Have a great time.
Boy, so much fun.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hi, have a good time.
And I do want to say that Salsa Bill Cadora is here. Again, Salsa Bill has been named the Indiana High School Journalist of the Year, so we'd like to recognize her at this time too. Come on.
Oh, good job.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love reading your content, by the way.
Thank you so much. So wonderful.
Congratulations, Dad.
Next, we invite up Mr. Bunton. We want to congratulate Mr. Bunton, who is a behaviorist at Allisonville Elementary School. In February, Mr. Bunton was awarded Wish TV's Golden Apple Award. The Golden Apple Award honors Central Indiana teachers who make a crucial difference in our children's lives. The prize comes with a check for $500, a trophy, and a big surprise. Principal Mrs. Ruffett said, he supports all of our students, K through 5, so he might go into classrooms. He supports more of the social and emotional learning and conflict resolution needs and helps students stay regulated in their classroom and make great choices. Mr. Bunton has the ability to sense what a student needs, and they thrive off his positive energy. He has the most contagious energy. He is positive all of the time. He believes in all kids, which is his very best quality. He believes in them, he never gives up on them, and they feel that, and they know that they are loved and cared for by him. Congratulations again, Mr. Bunton.
Thank you so much.
I saw the story. It was awesome.
They got me.
All right. Next up, we'd like to invite Mr. John Jones and Mr. David Day to come up before Dr. Woodson for recognition. Congratulations and a huge thank you to Mr. John Jones and Mr. David Day from the Transportation Department. The Indiana State Police, the Indianapolis School Bus Inspection Team inspected Washington Township Schools bus fleet February 5th through 7th. During that time, the Indianapolis School Bus Inspection Team inspected over 140 buses and buses from other schools that needed to be inspected. The inspection process includes checking the exterior, interior, and undercarriage of each bus. For them to be able to inspect each bus, school corporations typically call in bus drivers to operate the buses for them while they inspect them. However, when they inspect buses in Washington Township, they have been very fortunate over the last few years to have 2 of our employees helping them, and they wanted to acknowledge them for their efforts. John Jones and David Day have been operating each Washington Township bus for the experience, knowledge, commitment to the safety of the buses, and an inspection program have made our buses safer for students to ride and the inspection process smoother. The Indianapolis School Bus Inspection Team often says to themselves that they wish they could have John and David travel with them during the year to help as they inspect over 4,000 buses in the Indianapolis area. So on behalf of the inspection team and Washington Township Schools, we'd like to commend and thank John and David. Thank you for all you do to go above and beyond for the safety of our students and staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And finally, congratulations to Dr. Nataki Pettigrew. Come on down, wherever Dr. Pettigrew is. Come on down.
Like what?
Dr. Pettigrew, who's our Chief Academic and DEI Officer, was recently honored this month by WTLC during Women's History Month for enriching the fabric of the Indianapolis Society. Inspire Her honorees is a testament to the unwavering strength, grace, and dedication exemplified by Indianapolis women. Dr. Pettigrew is a transformative educator with extensive, diverse experiences in teaching, system-level leadership, curriculum instruction, and student services. Dr. Pettigrew specifically designed academic programs and services to meet the varied needs of her students through her experiences as a Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer, Director of Curriculum Instruction, Principal, English Language Arts teacher, and academic team lead. Dr. Pettigrew has received commendations for her work in the community and has a proven record of initiating and sustaining systemic change, mitigating educational inequities, and launching inclusive and equitable initiatives to support students and their families. Again, congratulations. We're extremely honored to have you as part of our Washington Township School family.
Yes, of course, you can't escape it. Congrats.
President George Davis, that concludes board recognition.
Sounds like we're doing a lot of good stuff here. Congratulations again, everyone. Going to take this time because I heard ABS made a promise. There she is. So if you would like to escape, now's your moment.
Look at the kid. Seriously? Seriously? Is she for real?
We'll also invite Miss Calais Merritt up as we do this.
And the Spring Mill cheer team.
There go the pom-poms. Miss Merritt, I didn't get a pom-pom this year. Okay. Now we will have a school spotlight on Spring Mill Elementary.
Go Dogs!
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it goes.
Thank you, Dr. Woodson and members of the board. We are excited to be here tonight to showcase and share in the spotlight for Spring Mill Elementary. We have an amazing school, as all Washington Township schools are, but we are very partial to ours. And we are so excited to have our staff here tonight in a big way to share in this board presentation spotlight. We're going to start tonight with the points of pride that really speak highly to what happens at Spring Mill Elementary every day. We have an amazing staff. Woo, go staff! We really do. And we are working really hard to make sure that we are demonstrating our commitment to our own professional growth, that we're modeling that not only for the students in our buildings, but also for ourselves as educators. And that can be seen through the many experiences that we have going on a consistent basis. And that has really helped us develop our own on-site professional development model through our lab classroom experiences, through peer observations and coaching institutes. Spring Mill is an amazing place to learn for all learners, and that means children and adults alike. With our students, we are consistently performing at or above our district goals on NWEA reading and math and IREAD 3. Just got our IREAD 3 data in, and so I can't share that now, but it's impressive. And other standardized assessments. Students are constantly setting personal achievement goals, and they monitor their own progress and are very excited when they meet the goals that they're setting with their teachers. And then we're also just developing student agency by identifying student leaders and providing opportunities for their voice to be reflected within our learning environment. As a school community, we have had an amazing opportunity this year to serve as a Get Your Teach On, GYTO, collaboration site from the Indiana Department of Education. And we're also being considered for special designation as a model school for the state of Indiana through the Department of Ed and the partnership with Get Your Teach On, which is super excited about. So they're down to 2 schools and we're one of them. And we know the choice will be easy for them. We have consistently have families that are actively choosing Spring Mill to be their school of choice. And it is evident that our school community shares a sense of pride with with regard to our learning environment and academic success. When we look at the goal of equitable achievement, we, for the 2022-2023 school year, 80% of our students passed IRE 3, meeting our district and school goal. Spring Mill has had the second highest achievement and highest growth this year as for our district winter NWEA in reading and also in for the reading assessment and math assessment. And our mid-year data has exceeded our school goal of 60%, which we were happy to raise this year based on previous performance, but it also has surpassed our previous academic performance for the past 6 years. And so we are setting a new trend within our building of what our students can do. We know they can achieve at a high level, and that has become the trend data. And so as we continue to raise our achievement, we know that we have to uphold that, but it's a great place to be. Areas of academic achievement and continued growth, we're going to continue to work on our Tier 1 behavior expectations and effective classroom management so that we're making sure that we're creating spaces that all students can raise their achievement, and we have high expectations for all learners. We're continuing to try to close that achievement gap by narrowing it across our subgroups as represented by ELA and math measures on NWEA, IRE 3, and iLearn through our commitment to just narrow our focus so that we can provide high quality, individualized instruction for all of our students. We're continuing to increase our attendance rate and reducing the number of unexcused absences through communication with families and partnering with them. We have a new social worker this year, and she is working hard to make sure that we are increasing student. We can give it up for Miss Branch. As we're continuing to increase our student achievement and accountability. And then we are also always working on hiring and retaining our highly qualified teachers, as well as training new teachers to ensure that we have rigorous and engaging instruction, and you can have both, with a direct and positive impact on student achievement and academic growth. Right? We have had this great partnership, as I mentioned earlier, through Get Your Teach On, but what it has really done for us as a school community, it's helped us to take all kinds of priorities and initiatives and really just narrow them down to 3 major points: target, teach, track. And through that, we have developed this, through their partnership, we have worked with what they call the 5 to Thrive instructional strategies. And so we're increasing our student accountability every student, every time. That means no one can opt out. We're ensuring that our learning targets are driving our instruction. We're making sure that student data is being tracked in the moment so that we can plan for next steps and that we're not just waiting for benchmark data to drive what's happening with our day-to-day instruction. We're utilizing motion and movement to make learning sticky, because if learning is sticky, then it lasts. And then we're also using proximity and pacing as a way to build strategies that increase academic rigor. We have math fact fluency challenges and reading challenges that are happening right now in our building to just increase engagement around learning. Learning is fun and learning is exciting, and it's especially fun and exciting when you are meeting your goals. We also have great learning spaces that happen all throughout the year in the form of celebrations through room transformations, end of unit celebrations, and just academic focused grade level experiences that are helping to increase our student engagement, our family engagement, as well as peer-to-peer learning. Our weekly planning with instructional coaches ensures that there's just a consistent focus on student learning, measurable outcomes, and making sure that our instruction is aligned. Our PLC model is continuing to be intentional and consistent, and then positive Tier 1 behavior expectations just help to reduce barriers for all learners. Okay, so now we're going to get to the point of our presentation where we have special recognition, and our first individual that we're going to recognize is Mia Quintanilla. Mia is our recipient for the Social Justice Advocate Student Recognition, and I want to read what her teachers have said about her. They say that Mia is one of the most responsible students in her 5th grade class. She is always a student that adults in the building can count on to be honest, to have integrity, and to continuously be kind to others. She always tries her best in every class every day and takes accountability for her work by asking for help when she needs it. She earns honor roll through her daily hard work and grit. She is willing to challenge others to make good choices and reminds her peers what it takes to show up every day as a Bulldog. We're very proud of you, Mia. For the above and beyond parent recognition, we'd like to recognize Monica Schultz and Nicole Singley. Come on up. They had that look because I didn't tell them why they were supposed to be here. These ladies continue to show up for Spring Mill, and they serve as a part of our PTO executive board, and they are strong advocates and supporters of Spring Mill Elementary. And we love you and we appreciate you. So.
Thank you so much.
Go Bulldogs.
Thank you.
I mean, these people are excited. And our final recognition for the evening is our supportive partnership recognition, and that is with Diversity Church with Pastor Andrew Woodrich and also Pastor Mark, if you both will come to the podium. Both of these individuals have given great support to our students this year and staff by being a consistent presence throughout the year. Their partnership exemplifies the true meaning of what a community partner is. Their commitment to Spring Mill has afforded opportunities to support our food pantry, to provide books to our students, and also holiday support. And also Pastor Andrew shows up every 3rd Friday to have a moment of inspiration with our staff to keep us motivated and keep us pushing forward towards our goals. And we cannot thank you enough for what you do for our school community. So thank you, Pastor Andrew. Thank you, Pastor Mark. And that is Spring Mill Elementary. So thank you for letting us shine our spotlight on our school tonight. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your continuous support of our school. And thank you, Bulldogs.
It's a lively group you got there. Thank you, Mrs. Merritt. Do you guys want to sneak out? Okay. Oh, Mia. She was so cute. She was adorable. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have superintendent's announcements. Dr. Woodson.
Thank you and good evening, members of the board. I can tell you from our executive leadership visit to Spring Mill on Monday to tonight, it's just a climate that didn't show up to do this tonight. It is that during the school day. So we're super excited for their possibilities with the data coming out, as well as the DOE interview they have next week to see if they will be a selected school. But without all of those accolades, they're doing amazing things in Washington Township for our students, and very, very excited about that. In the superintendent announcements for tonight, you do have the March cultural and national observances for the entire month. Also wanted to reiterate the grand opening of the Glendale Library, and the invitation, as well as details for the end of the month, is in your board documents if you can attend. We also saw the conclusion of the legislative session on Friday, and all of the details from our associations and lobbyists are in your board documents. There's quite a bit to review. Even though it was a short session, it was an impactful session. We will be reviewing all of the legislative changes as an executive leadership team. You can see the start of a document in your board docs where we unpack the impacts specific to Washington Township schools and things that we will have to do in order to align and adhere to the new legislation matters. So that document will take shape over the next month as we unpack and digest and learn more of the impacts specifically to us. Also, just a reminder, tomorrow morning, we will be in executive session. It is super, super early in the morning, so Ms. Wilson has provided breakfast. So you don't even have to eat or have your coffee before you show up. Next, we continue our staff attending and administrators required to attend the Interrupting Racism for Children training. As always, I invite board members who have not yet had the opportunity to participate in that training to engage. All of the dates are there, and you can just contact Dr. Pettigrew or myself, and we will take care of your registration. Last, certainly not least, we have a kudos. Shout out to Northview Principal, Mr. Hakeem, and you can see the details of the kudos that was shared with me that I always love to share with you. And that's all I have.
Board, any questions? Thank you, Dr. Woodson. Next, we will have comments from the public. Just a few reminders that comments from the public will not exceed 21 minutes. Each person is given 3 minutes, and no person may speak twice on the same topic unless everyone who has chosen to speak on that topic has spoken. No disparaging remarks pointed at people. We discuss issues. Any comments? Anyone? Going once? All righty. We will move on to our consent agenda. Dr. Taylor.
All right, thank you, President George Davis, Dr. Woodson, members of the board. You know, I do long for the day when there's pom-poms out for a consent agenda process. So thank you. Thank you. Dream fulfilled. Thank you, President George Davis. President, members of the board, I recommend that you approve the consent agenda for this meeting. This consent agenda includes approval of the minutes of the February 28th, 2024 board meeting, approval of one payroll calculation summary report, a claims docket in the amount of $4,245,614.25, a special personnel item in accordance with Indiana Code 20-26-5-11.2, a human resources report containing for classified personnel That's 17 new hires, indicated numbers in 192 through 208. 12 resignations, numbers 121 through 132. 1 retirement, number 11. 4 terminations, numbers 22 through 25. And for certified personnel, we have 1 new appointment, that's number 117. 3 resignation, numbers 97 through 99. And then 1 maternity, child rearing, adoption, that's 19. Approval of modification to the July 2024, June 2025 Washington Township School Board meeting schedule, rescheduling the July 17th, 2024 reorg and regular meeting to July 24th, 2024. There are no non-competitive grants to present for board's approval, and there are no grants, gifts, or donations to present for the board's approval at this time. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Board, any questions?
If there are no questions, Madam President, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented by Dr. Taylor.
I'll second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we will move on to our action items. First up, approval of the Transpar Enrollment Management Advisory Support Proposal. Dr. Taylor.
Yes, thank you, President George Davis. Dr. Woodson, members of the board, we are seeking an extension of our current partnership with Transpar to provide assistance with our enrollment management advisory group efforts over the course of the remaining 2024 calendar year. We are selecting option 2 there, that's attached in your board docs for review. We were given 3 different options to consider in that draft agreement in order for Transpar to bring staff on site to conduct rezoning and walk zone analyses for the district. The proposal calls on Transpar to conduct 6 tasks relevant to this enrollment management review with 3 different options to consider. We do believe option 2 fulfills the tasks we need direct support with, as it requires more on-site presence, but only for what district leaders feel is absolutely necessary. Any recommendation for enrollment rezoning or adjustments to transportation routing, including consideration for school walk zones, would be presented before the board next fall of 2024 to go into effect during and this is inaccurate, so I want to make sure this is clear. This would go into effect during the 2025-2026 school year, pending board approval. So again, just to clarify, we would come to the board with any recommendations for adjustments to enrollment, to transportation efficiencies next fall of 2024. And if there are any changes, pending board approval, that would go into effect the 2025-2026 school year. And with that, the total financial impact is $57,217.50. We would use the remaining budgeted ESSER 3.0 funds for our transportation line item, and the additional cost would be through our transportation budget. So you have the attachments there. Happy to answer any questions the board may have regarding
Board,
this.
any questions?
If there are more questions, I move that we approve the Transpar Enrollment Management Advisory Support Proposal as presented by Dr. Taylor.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Next, we have the approval of the 3-year Newsela contract for 2024-2025 through 2026-2027 school years. Mrs. Conti.
Evening, President George Davis, Dr. Woodson, and members of the board. I am here tonight seeking approval for the 3-year contract for Newsela. Currently, MSDWT utilizes Newsela in grades 6 through 8 for social studies, grade 6 civics, science, ELA, AVID, world language, special education, and ENL courses. And we are looking to expand that access for 9 through 12 after multiple requests from building level leadership and teachers at North Central. Newsella's content is Indiana standards aligned in ELA, social studies, and science, and is an essential complement to the curricular resources and frameworks that have already been established by our teachers in the district. Up to 10 new texts are published daily at 5 different reading levels, and texts are available in Spanish as well. And in addition, changes to funding with regards to curricular materials has caused us to seek alternative curricular resources that cost less money. So in the document that was submitted, I think we said it was $19.59 per student per year. But I actually did not take out the professional development that needs to be paid differently. And so it's actually only $18.58 per student per year and can be used in 3 or more of their content area courses. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Would you mind repeating that figure for me? It was 18.
It's $18.58 per student per year.
Gotcha. Mrs. Horth Kruger.
Just a quick question. I'm unfamiliar with, and perhaps other board members and folks might maybe listening, about the Curricular Material Fund, Title IV. Can you give us a little bit of information about that? Just a few words.
Yes, so we actually have some funds set aside for Newsella in our Title IV, the Well-Rounded Grant, which is how we've been paying for it at the middle school level. Now with the curricular reimbursement, well, I guess it's not a reimbursement fund. With the change in legislation where we can't charge textbooks, we get the fund per pupil. So with that money, we can actually, Newsella qualifies as curricular materials that we can adopt. So we can use the funds given to us each year by the state for adopted materials to pay for Newsella.
Thank you. So it's state funding?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Turner.
This is a quick question. If you don't have the answer right now, that's fine too. So you mentioned that this is going into high school now, and because there's a desire to have it in high school, don't have to have all the data information, but what is that desire about? I mean, what caused them to want to move it into the high school? What was so good about it?
So they've actually, Newsella always had a free option that gave lots of access to almost all of their articles. You couldn't keep student data, teachers couldn't track student data with the free access, but they could create accounts and students could access the content. So the benefit is that they could level the articles, they can pick an article, they can put in the reading levels from NWEA or any other progress monitoring, and so they could give kids access to the same content at their appropriate level. Well, Newsella went away with the free access this past year, and so you only get access to one article. And so the email started to come in like, what happened to our Newsella? You pulled it. And I'm like, well, you never really had it. And then their librarian or their media center specialist, department chair emailed me and said, could we use our library funds? I was like, I don't think you have enough library funds to pay. It's kind of expensive for that. And then Dr. Mendez reached out and said, I think we're going to get a quote. And I said, hold on, we can do this all together, 612, bring our money down per student even more. So they always were using it. They just kind of lost their access for it. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
There are no further questions. Oh, there are.
I recall approving this in the past. Have we always done 3-year contracts? Are we just kind of like redoing the contract to start over fresh to add North Central, or have we done just 1-year contracts?
Yeah, so I believe in the past we had done like multi-year contracts with Newsella. Last year, I came and sought for 1 year for grades 6 through 8 because we went from using Newsella Essentials, which is more of a generic version of Newsella, to Newsella Content, where we have specific ELA social studies. They have the brand new civics course in 6th grade. They have a whole curriculum for that, and science. And so we wanted to go back to using the separate subject areas. I didn't want to do a long-term contract because I wanted to see who was going to use it with the proper training. Well, we provided that training over the course of the year. And our social studies teachers are actually one of the highest users proportionally in the middle school space. So now we're looking for 3 years. Just again, it lowers our cost. And when we're thinking about being responsible fiscally over the year, it then aligns us with smaller adoption years. So when our contract renews, we have like social studies adoption and not ELA, which is much more expensive for us. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there are no further questions, I move approval of the 3-year Newsella contract for the 2024-2025 through 2026-27 school years as presented by Mrs. Conti.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms.
So much.
I need paper for this. Next, we have approval of a first reading of policies. B-125, B-150, B-175, B-200, B-225, B-250, C-100, C-125, C-575, and C-600. Mrs. Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Woodson, members of the board. I bring to you this evening the first reading of the policies just mentioned, and I'll do a brief summary of those. And these have gone through, of course, our board liaisons and also any executive leaders or anyone in the district that those might pertain to. However, a lot of these this time had to do a lot with board items. So for instance, the first policy B-125 is duties of the school board. This replaces policies 0171.2, 0171.3, 0171.4, 0172, 0175, and 0175.1. And this is has to do with the duties of the school board and deals with the board members, the treasurer, legal counsel, memberships, and conferences. Next, we have policy B-150, and that is regarding organizational meetings, Board of Finance, and committees. This replaces policies 0151.1, 0152, 0154, and 0155. And this organizational meeting, Board of Finance and committees are done during our reorg board meeting that we have in January. So a lot of those deal with that. Next, we have policy B-175, it's functions. This replaces policies 0131.2, 0132.1, 0132.2, and 0133. And it includes aspects of the superintendent selection and adoption of bylaws and policies, judicial role, and approval of contracts, budgets, and other financial obligations. Next, we have policy B-200 on memberships. This replaces policies 0142, 0142.1, 0142.2, 0142.3, 0142.5, and 0143. Next, we have policy B-225, and that is for board meetings, and that replaces, we have a whole slew of those. So they run all the way from policies 0162 all the way through 0168.2. So all of them in between, instead of naming each one of those, you'll see that in your board docs. Next, we have policy B-250, and that is school board member ethics, and that is from the Indiana School Boards Association. This mirrors the association's model policy, and it's good. It's a good idea to have this in our board policies. Next, we have policy C-100, entrance requirements. This replaces policy 5112. Indiana Code provides for two different age-related deadlines for schools to be familiar with regarding kindergarten students. And one of the Indiana codes, Indiana Code 20-43-4-5, sets the cutoff date for the school to count a student in its ADM count. And Indiana Code 20-33-2-7 sets the minimum age for a student to enroll in kindergarten. Next, we have policy C-125, and that's admission to the district legal settlement. This replaces policy 5111. Next is policy C-575, homework. This replaces policy 2330. A board policy on homework is required by law. And policy C-600, which is withdrawal from high school, and this replaces policy 5130. This is the list of 10 policies for our first reading, and I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Board, any questions?
If there are no questions, I move that we approve the first reading of policies B-125, B-150, B-175, B-200, B-225, B-250, C-100, C-125, C-575, and C-600 as presented by Ms.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Next, we have the approval of 2020 capital construction project change orders. Mr. Boots.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, Dr. Woodson and members of the board. I am here this evening asking for approval of 2 change orders for a single project. Those change orders are change order number IN 21002-021 to Smoot Constructions GMP for the renovation of the CEC ELC project. Excuse me, and change order number 004 to Temperature Control Services purchase order for renovation of the CEC ELC project as well. The total of those 2 changes amount to $78,934.56. And of course, will be funded from the referendum funds. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Fensel.
I see the word design error / omission, and I just wanted to confirm that we're still tallying those for our various projects and be evaluated at the conclusion to see if.
Yes, sir, indeed we
any-
are.
all right.
We're almost to that point. Once we settle a few more outstanding ones, we'll be having that, I call it a settlement meeting with everybody involved, and we'll review each and every one of them to the life of the project.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Turner.
So this is a question that you probably have answered in the past, so excuse me. I know why we went with this particular company, and the second change order explains how we're trying to make sure all of our controls match, right? So in the past, how do I ask this? So that amount, that's including, I know we look at what it would cost as far as materials and everything. There's a place that you go to, as you mentioned it here, to find that out. Is this also including labor? So there's a labor cost. Is that like a standard labor cost, or is that negotiable, or is that just a set?
It is a standard hourly labor cost that is included in the contract as well. There's a small escalation, yearly escalation for that in that master purchase order agreement.
Okay, so it's in there.
Hmm.
And this might be too late because of the timing. And I unfortunately, I haven't even looked at this. I know we're doing a great job on diversity spend, but because this organization, this company received the full district contract, if you will, for these controls, was there any request to them about XBE involvement, or is this just their company and that's all they do?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
the
so
latter.
there's no sub contract or anything. It's all
There's
through them.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. Damn.
Any other questions?
If there are no further questions, I move approval of the 2020 capital construction project change orders as presented by Mr. Boots.
I'll second.
Has been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Boots. Oh, you're still here. Next, we have the approval of building automation controls purchase agreement with Temperature Control Services for JEL. Mr. Boots.
Madam President, yes, I am asking approval of purchase order number 12 to Temperature Control Services regarding the special purchasing process for building automation controls for our J. Everett Light Career Center. And I will just highlight that that is number 12, meaning we're on 12 separate projects, and we have 1 additional project remaining to go. And as a reminder, and as we just noted, in May of 2021, the board approved the consulting agreement with Temperature Control Services through which this special purchasing agreement is to be administered. The amount for for the controls for the JEL Career Center is $276,570.87 and will be funded from referendum money. Happy to answer any questions.
Were there any questions?
If there are no further questions, I move that we approve the Building Automation Controls Purchase Agreement with Temperature Control Services for JEL Phase 5 is presented by Mr. Boots.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Boots. That concludes our action items for this evening. First, only up on information items, 8 through 12 STEM focus in Washington Township, Dr. Pettigrew.
Dr. Woodson, Board President, and the board. We are here to share some information about STEM in the district. We are going to give just a brief overview at every level. We have our directors here this evening. And so it's important for us to remember, that we are very intentional about STEM in the district with over 80% growth in STEM careers. We want to make sure that our kiddos are prepared, that they are ready to have those jobs of the future. And so when we look at our STEM programs, we are meeting global workplace demands, and we're excited by the work that we are doing, starting in elementary school all the way to high school. And so with the growing landscape of STEM-related careers, we are really proud of our high-quality education, as well as the instruction that you will hear about. With that, we will start with Mr. Blom, who will talk about our STEM program at elementary level.
Thank you. I'm excited to share about the various STEM activities happening in our elementary schools. Our students experience STEM-based instruction every day, and all students have a technology class as part of their exploratory arts rotation. Our elementary students have a variety of experiences that are preparing them for STEM opportunities they will have in middle school and beyond. 2 years ago, we adopted a new mathematics curriculum. Overall scores in the NWA math assessment are exceeding pre-pandemic levels. Last school year, our iLearn math scores increased in almost every subgroup, including our Black, Hispanic, and multiracial students. This year, we have a new science curriculum, and our students have more hands-on experiences than we had in the past. Along with those lessons, many of our schools have additional STEM experiences happening, including field trips to Kings Island with a focus on physics, robotics clubs, mystery Skypes, in which our students have virtual visits with classrooms in other parts of the world, and Zoom interactions with scientists and NASA space engineers. We are not only laying the foundation, but we are inspiring our youngest learners for the opportunities they will have as they progress to our Washington Township middle schools.
In terms of middle school offerings, the whole middle school experience is all about exploration. That's kind of what our focus is. It's what we feel like we need to do to set students up, not only for their middle school experience, but what they're going to do in high school and beyond high school. As you can see, we offer an introductory STEM course at the 6th grade level called Exploring Innovations. And what it does is it gives them a taste of all the different areas within our STEM offerings, the science-specific STEM offerings in middle school. And with that, then they can determine what they'd like to take in 7th and 8th grade. In 7th and 8th grade, our courses are tied directly to the Project Lead the Way. And those courses are Design and Modeling, Automation and Robotics, App Creator, Computer Science and Innovation Maker, and Medical Detectives. And each of those, if you had an opportunity to see them, they're absolutely fully hands-on. They require students to be problem solvers. They require students to be designers. They take them through that entire process so they start to think like an engineer. And they're pretty demanding as well. And so it's one of those things that the students see on their schedule. And while it's interesting, they're not always sure that how difficult it is until they get there. But at the same time, though, we think we're preparing them for life beyond high school. In addition to that, in addition to the math and science course that we always offer, we offer additional courses that the students can receive high school credit in. And those are biology, which is taken at the 8th grade year, environmental studies, taken at 7th or 8th grade year, and then algebra and geometry. And again, those are typically taken 7th or 8th grade year. So those students can come out of middle school with a number of high school credits, which puts them in a great position and also provides them an opportunity to take a lot of additional STEM-related courses at the high school. In addition, we have robotics clubs in each of our middle schools. If you've ever been part of that, if you haven't, I suggest you spend a long Saturday afternoon at a robotics competition. It's a blast, a long day if you're not up for it, but to see the energy and the vibes come from that experience is actually a great thing. Here's just kind of an outline again of the courses that we offer. In addition though to STEM, we've also have a focus on STEAM. And STEAM, the one extra letter that's in there is the A, and that's the focus on arts. And in fact, we're expanding our art offerings next year. We've always had four art classes for students to take part of in the middle school, but we're actually expanding that and offering a 5th course. One of the things I talked about is how we focus on exploration. Well, now at the 6th grade, we're going to offer art. Previously, it was only offered in 7th, 8th grade because we couldn't find a place for it to fit. Now we've modified some things with our world language program for a variety of reasons. We found a spot for art at the 6th grade level. So we'll expand that piece. All 5 courses will be different. In addition to that, we offer the Artistically Talented program. It's not unique to middle school. It's a K-12 piece where basically the students who are excited about visual arts and who are passionate or just good at it have an opportunity to do things that take them beyond the school setting. They have field trips that take them to various places that the art teachers in each building feel are relevant and to take them into the real world. That, in addition, I spoke to the Project Lead the Way courses that are listed there, and then the math courses. So with that, we feel like while our kids leave middle school, not only with a desire to learn more, but a desire to know exactly kind of where they want to hone their skills when they get to high school.
Thank you, Mr. Doss. At the high school level, we are excited to offer our students at North Central a wide variety of STEM opportunities. Like the elementary and middle school, we certainly have robust offerings in our science and mathematics programs, but we're also able to offer many courses that really provide that integration of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, both at North Central as well as J. Everett Light and our True North Academy. We have Project Lead the Way courses, college and career-based courses, and we have many co-curricular opportunities, including robotics, club, and esports. The esports is a new piece this year that has been really popular as well. Thinking about our courses at North Central, I think one that's really important to highlight is our biomedical science pathway because of that integration of all of those skills, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That pathway consists of a series of courses that students typically take in order, and we've seen a lot of student interest in these courses, which include Principles of Biomedical Science, Human Body Systems, Medical Interventions, Biomedical Innovation, and a capstone experience. Our J. Everett Light Career Center offers multiple one-hour courses that align with STEM, including Introduction to Engineering and Design, Introduction to Cosmetology, Business, Family and Consumer Science, Robotics, and Introduction to Culinary Arts. And that's really just listing a few. As I was reviewing all of the JEL courses, I was just really reflecting on how the students really do use all of those different skills in those courses. So if you think in a cosmetology class, when they're mixing up those hair highlight chemicals, they have to get those fractions right to make sure that they end up with a good final product. So certainly in all of our courses, we have some really nice integration, especially at JEL, of those different disciplines. We also have industry certifications. So after students have taken those one-hour courses or had some basic exposure, we have STEM-related certifications in the areas of animation and film production, dental careers, automotive, emergency medical technician, health careers, medical assisting, music and sound production, welding, and more. We have a variety of work-based learning experiences at JEL as well as North Central. We partner with local businesses to cultivate STEM-related work-based learning experiences. We have 2 work-based learning coordinators at North Central and 1 at JEL that specifically focus their work on personalizing those work-based learning experiences for our students with their interests and career goals. Just to name a few of the local businesses that we partner with for those STEM-related work-based learning experiences would be IU Health, Eye Surgeons of Indiana, Brickyard Healthcare, Community Health Network, and Republic Airways. So really exciting in terms of the internship opportunities that our students have and those real life learning experiences related to STEM. And with that, we are happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Ms. Frey? Just a quick question on middle school. Are those things you talked about consistent across all the middle schools, or is there kind of some schools have some things that others don't?
No, actually, each of those programs is offered across each middle school.
Okay. And then my next question, particularly, well, elementary is, I mean, everybody always does science. I mean, it's more part of the core curriculum. So I'm going to focus this question on middle school, so you can stay up there. Because middle school is where it seems like we really start to get into some of these really cool specialized things like Project Lead the Way. So trying to think how to word this. How many middle school students do we have? Ballpark?
2,430.
Okay.
I know because I looked.
So thank you.
I was going to say, pretty good, Mr. Doss.
So does the
Outstanding.
fact that we have that number of students help us with offering these? And what I'm getting at is if we only had, say, 100 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in our district, would we be able to do all this?
You'd be able, I think it would be very difficult. I mean, the cost of these programs are pretty extensive, and then just the having access to all the equipment and whatnot would be very difficult. So it would be very difficult to pull off with a student body that size.
Thank you. And okay, I got to get on a soapbox a little bit. This may be more of a statement than a question, but I'll kind of phrase it as a question. So I'm just thinking back, and I'm not very young anymore. And like, I remember taking math all the way K through 12. And I remember taking chemistry and having labs, and I remember having art. And I even remember computer class, like kind of the rotational. I remember 6th grade and we had those Apple IIe's and floppy disks. So what I'm getting at with this is, everybody talks about STEM like it's some hot new thing. Have we not always been doing STEM in our schools?
I'll take the middle school. Absolutely, we have. It's anything new. I will say that the technology has allowed us to do more. Obviously, the Project Lead the Way curriculum at the middle level and the high school, there are things that weren't in play when we were all in school, especially someone as old as I am. But no, I think that those are things that have always been a focus and things that we find value in.
And like I said, I acknowledge that was a little more of a statement, but it just, people talk about STEM like it's some like special new trend.
Correct.
So I guess I'm really, that non-question was really just to make the point that schools have been doing STEM. We just are
Completely
expanding
agree.
some of it
Completely agree.
because
I
of
think
new technology.
particularly at the high school level, but probably a little bit at elementary and middle school as well. It's important that we prepare our students for the community in which they live and the world in which we live. And we know that STEM is evolving in the community. And so we certainly are adjusting our instruction to meet that need. But 100%, we've been doing STEM for a long time in our schools, and we're continuing to do them on a high level, just like we have for many, many years.
And then one more question. So, I guess one kind of concern that sometimes I have, I'm a lawyer. I mean, I'm not a STEM person. I was always good at liberal arts. That was more, yeah, I can do math. I know the basics, but are we also making sure as a district that we are embracing, some of the newest strategies and newest things out there that aren't STEM, new ways of approaching, writing instruction or, new ways, thinking about AI from like a philosophy and ethics perspective, right? Stuff that isn't necessarily this like pure STEM that everybody wants to focus on now. I guess what I'm getting at is like, are we focusing on those other things too? And is it still okay to be a kid who likes English and history?
Mr. Blum, I'm sure would be happy to talk about the exciting world of elementary literacy and all that we're doing with literacy throughout the district. But absolutely, your point is well taken. While I'm up here, I'll just say in terms of programming at the high school level, we have comprehensive programming. So we're not just focused only in one particular area like STEM, but we offer a tremendous opportunity for our students in a variety of disciplines. And that's what makes our school district as fabulous as it is.
As Mr. Blom comes to the mic, I'd like to note that Project Lead the Way is also not available in many schools. You have to actually be chosen for that program.
Well,
Mr.
and
Blom?
just to build off of that, I think one of the strengths that we have is the vertical articulation, the collaboration that we have within our curriculum department and between all levels. And so when Project Lead the Way was initially introduced, I think at the high school level, Mr. Doss invited me to tag along to some training sessions, and then it grew into the middle, and we actually have one elementary teacher trained and a big investment in the modules and the technology they need there, and other technology teachers who are ready to go through the training the next chance that it's available to us. So we're excited about that. If you thought tonight the room was full, when people find out that we're bringing our curriculum adoption to the next school board meeting, I expect it to be standing room only. That's going to be very exciting. And so that's just a little teaser. You have to come back next time to find out all about all the literacy PD we've been doing. But certainly, to your point, in a district like this, with the resources that we have, and as I mentioned, the collaboration across the board, the experiences that we're giving students, whether they are readers or they're into technology or they're artists, you just can't argue with what we provide and what we put out there in the classroom every single day, and then the extracurricular opportunities that we have in all of the different groups and clubs, the extracurriculars that we have at the elementary level, at the middle level, and certainly at North Central are second to none. So I would say we provide, and we've proven that we provide a great all-around experience for all of our kids.
I did want to say one thing. So this can be for anybody, and it's because it happens across the K-12 space, maybe not K as much, but I'm looking at the slide that we have up now, and obviously there are a lot of courses that students select, and they can go into, for example, they could go into some of the biomedical science pathways, but not every student will do that, right? But I also know that we don't, force kids or anything or into any of the classes that they don't want to take unless it's mandatory. Don't we do some coaxing, some guidance? I think back to all the presentations we had on Avid and how Avid can help students who may not think they can do it to kind of coach them into maybe looking at doing higher level learning, maybe AP courses, et cetera. Do we do any of that, or is this just organic when you talk about STEM? Like Project Lead the Way, everybody can't be in it, but is it something that do we help students see that there may be another? You talk about exploration in middle school. Is that something we help them see, or is it just if you see it on the course selection, you just choose it?
One thing that I will share is that middle school is really a low risk area to offer many of these courses, and so students do need to be guided, and that's part of what we want to see in the high school. But if you expose kids, K-5, but also in middle school, and it's a low risk. So when I think of a kid that may want to take medical detectives or Project Lead the Way, but it doesn't impact their transcript in a way that it would at the high school level. So it's a safe risk to expose them to a STEM related field. And so, of course, when you get to the high school, you expect the counselors will continue to cultivate that with the students and kind of push them in that area. So that is a great point, but we do want to make sure that we expose at such an early level so that they can get that exposure before they get to high school.
Thank you. So we're not restricting who can go into these classes by any means. So it's not like this subgroup of students are the only folks that can go into these classes.
Absolutely not.
It's open to everyone, and the exploration piece opens the door sometimes to students who may not have done it in the past. So it's not a closed system.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure that was said.
In the same lines, Dr. Pettigrew, would you mind sharing the shift at middle level for the opt-out versus opt-in concept for course selection? I think this would be a good time to share that.
Yeah, I think previously we've used an application for some of these courses. And so we've decided after much conversation, and Rick and I've had conversation as well as Robin, who you saw earlier, that the goal is to encourage kids to be in these courses. And so it's now, instead of opting in and getting an application and going through all these barriers to get in that course, it's an opt-out process. So if we're encouraging you to be in medical detectives, and we're, stating the case as to why you would be a strong student in this course, and so you would have to opt out to not be enrolled.
Thank
you. Is that in place now?
It will.
Or is for next
year?
Yeah, okay, good.
Selection process now, courses for next year.
Okay.
Right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Selection now for next year's courses.
If I can brag on the middle schools for a minute since we're talking about them, and I'm a middle school parent, they actually do encourage them to continue. We're in scheduling right now for middle schoolers going in rising ninth graders, and they are encouraging them to continue. And for those who aren't in it, to maybe get their feet wet. And medical detectives, they sometimes have to turn kids away because so many kids want to be in it. I want to be in it, but I'm not in middle school. But they won't let me. There are rules against that.
They could use an epidemiologist.
Don't do that.
Guest speak.
Oh, I can. Oh, I can be a guest. I can be a guest speaker. I do work in medicine, don't I?
One question.
Mrs. Horth-Kruger.
So when you, I think it's incredible that you are opening up these opportunities to all students. That's fabulous. My question is how do you have the capacity to meet the need of all those students who want to maybe be in medical detectives, or is there any, you open it all up, but you do have to have some sort of limitations about the numbers, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, there are some limitations. And so you would certainly not want to advise a student to enroll in geometry if they're not on that path in middle school. But we also want to make sure that we have appropriate support. And so whether a student is in a geometry class or a regular 8th grade math class or medical detectives or Project Lead the Way, they still have access to some of that MTSS process where kids, where they can get support from a whole host of staff in that building, regardless of where they are. But yes, there are parameters in place so that students are in the right place. You never want to set a kid up for failure by putting them in a course that they would not be able to be successful in, but using the data that we have, that's how we make those decisions.
Mr. Fensel.
But I think of I'm reading here 20 science courses at North Central, and I'm assuming that those are at various levels. And so we can meet the student where they're at. And so some of those obviously are AP classes, but some of those algebra classes may be not as robust initially, but designed to move them into the mainstream or something. Is that?
Yep, so there are different pathways within each of those grade levels. So you have honors options, including, as you mentioned, advanced placement, international baccalaureate courses. We have ACP courses. So there's a vast array of options depending on readiness based on the data.
And ACP being advanced college placement, dual credit? Yes. And is that dual credit only at IU, or is that at other universities?
Right now, we're partnered with IU for our ACP. Well, so IU refers to their dual credit courses as ACP, but that is our partner with university. We do not have any other courses, I don't believe, that are STEM related at North Central with other universities. So IU Bloomington is our premier partner.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Pettigrew and team. Anything else for the good of the order?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.